back and hold the other side of duality with you, God, because you made me strong enough to do this. Right. Otherwise, there'll be no way to experience duality. And that's what this is all about. I like to call it sourcing itself, having more and more experiences.
Yes, I totally, like, when I read those 4 or 5 pages, I immediately, because Lily was in the midst of, going through some fear about that, because she came actually from, what is it, not Latter-day Saints, but the Mormon church. And I what I did is I think I had left the book with her or something like that, because it was the weekend that you sent it to me. And I actually read it to her on the phone, and I said, "You got to listen to this, Lily, because this so resonates with me about, Lucifer was the brightest angel, is the brightest angel of them all, is the lightest angel of them all, and you got to listen to this because this totally resonates with the truth for me, as opposed to, that evil dude that they represent in movies and stuff, that is not at all, it could be pretty dark." But this world is like that, and it's because of, because Lucifer agreed to it, that we can have these dark experiences, as gods.
Exactly.
So that might be freaking out a whole bunch of people, but that's all right.
Because as Source, kind of speaking for Source, it didn't say, I want to experience this, but I don't want to experience that. It said all experiences. I want everything. So that means everything.
Yeah, and God, but how can really is amazing to me is how can God gain greater understanding, greater learning if it can't experience it, and it does it through, we do it through, it does it through us. We are it, we are one, basically. The illusion of being separate is this illusion of this dimension, that's the reality of it. But, that's why we get to experience all these different things. And then the other thing that really blew me away is that the beings that I'm channeling, these archangels and angels, said, do you guys think that we don't make mistakes? And they were like, how do you think we learn? It's actually, you call them mistakes, we call them learning and understanding.
Right.
So that's pretty awesome, that they stated that, and everybody was in shock, because everybody thinks the angelic realm is perfect, God is perfect, everything is, and the truth is that we're all learning. In
all dimensions, in all places. When you think about, and this is kind of hard to wrap your mind around, but I like to play with it. When you think about the fact that we are infinite, and that means in all directions, in every vibratory dimension you can imagine, forever we exist in some frame of reference. Right here in this one, I'm existing, sitting here in front of this computer, and you're sitting in front of your screen, and this is what you know yourself as, and me that I know myself as, is sitting, but there's aspects of us everywhere infinitely in the oneness. So that we get a chance to experience everything. And when I do soul readings, this is what I see in the soul fabric, is how we are able to access the wisdom that we contain if we'll place our attention upon it in other realms. We're there.
Right.
An aspect of ourselves is there if we'll just tap into it. And we have access to all of that wisdom and all of that knowledge and all of that knowing everywhere infinitely. There's no end. It's just, it makes me giggle. It makes me laugh because it's so freeing. It's forever. So, don't be in a rush, anybody. Just pay attention to what you need to pay attention to right now. It isn't about how fast you get everything done. It's going to go on forever in some form.
Yeah, and we go on forever. And that's the other thing that's so interesting to me, is people freak out when I tell them this. I say people choose their own death. People choose to live forever. If you choose to ascend, you choose to do whatever you choose to do, because you are God. And once you realize it and have that realization, you can, if you like, you can sort of, not sort of, but you can break from, break agreement with this dimension and what you've been taught here, and enter into other dimensions.
Exactly. So, whatever the mass consciousness is saying, that it doesn't mean you have to buy into it. Right. And that's one of the things I get a kick out of. Sometimes people will say, how are you? And I'll say, I'm perfect. And they'll say, well, you're perfect. And I'll say, well, yeah, I have to be perfect. I am perfect as I am. Because we're all perfect exactly as we are. And people don't really believe that. And that's one of the reasons that they have a hard time hearing their message, because they don't think they're just the step of getting the idea in your mind that you are worth listening to your own message is huge for most people. Instead of
that is pretty huge.
Yeah, instead of putting your authority in somebody else, somebody else tell me what it is, somebody else tell me what to do, somebody else tell me.
And that's the other huge message that these beings are coming forth with, that that I'm channeling, that are basically saying, that you need to have your inner guidance and you need to have your inner rudder, and stop going to the outer world to try and get your answers. They're inside of you, And yes, there's some people that have so much emotional clutter and so much emotional baggage, and they have tremendous amnesia about, periods of their life that are complete. That happened to me. I mean, I had from age 6 months to 5 years things that happened to me that were completely wiped out of my memory. And then, at a certain particular time, like when I was 30, they came flooding back, because that's when I was able to handle it, and process through that. And it took me 17 years to heal that. And now I look at it and I go, well, that was part of the divine purpose of what I chose to come and experience, so that I could become and live my divine purpose. Without it, I would have never gotten it.